Hey friends, Ian, otherwise known as Doc Wrangler on the trail and Instagram and YouTube. Today I want to show you my cardiac loadout, the kit that I carry when I go deep into the wilderness. I'm showing you stuff that a physician carries when he goes out. This is not training on any level. I just want you to see what I'm doing and maybe it'll give you some ideas. The big ticket item in my cardiac kit is an AED. Whoops. A lot of people don't even know that you can buy one of these refurbished for about 500 bucks online. I did a lot of research before I did, so I'll put a link in the description of this video as to where I got mine so you can maybe get yours there too. But when somebody has a heart attack, they run a chance of their heart running offline electrically. Or, in the recent case of Damar Hamlin, if you get hit real hard in an accident, you could also knock the heart offline. Bystander CPR is super important. But I've had people come in when they're far out on the trail, had CPR 45 minutes, and we weren't able to save them. The one thing that could have saved them is if they could have been defibrillated on the scene. Seeing that enough times has got me carrying one of these in my kit. A handful of batteries like this is all it takes to save somebody's life. This device is incredibly simple. Pop off the top, press the power button.
Attach defib pads to patient's bare chest.
It tells you exactly what to do and will walk you through the steps. My favorite part?
Stay calm.
Stay
Check
calm.
responsiveness. Call for help.
In addition to carrying the kit, I actually like to carry an extra set of pads as well as an extra set of batteries. You just never know when you're going to be out there and realize, oh, you forgot to change them. I don't want to be caught like that. 4 things to keep in mind when using one of these devices. 1, when you set it up, don't touch the person anymore. Let the machine read their rhythm and not get confused by you touching the patient. 2, don't use this in a moving vehicle. Shaking somebody around like this can actually make it look like they're having a different heart rhythm, and it might shock them when it doesn't need to, or not shock them when it does. Another thing, and I know this sounds kind of simple, if someone's laying in a puddle of water, don't put an electrical defibrillator on them. You could be in a world of hurt. And my 4th point, and this one's again kind of obvious but important, don't use this around flammable liquids. If they're recently, been fueling up a vehicle and there's a bunch of fuel around, like, don't use this, pull them out of that scene. Or, another thing would be don't clean their chest with something flammable like alcohol wipes before putting the pads on. You might think, okay, we'll get a better connection. The reality is you're setting the person on fire. All right, not everybody needs to be carrying one of these. If there's a group of like 50 people out doing some big event, they better believe they need to have one of these with them. I keep one with me because I just couldn't live with the regret of knowing I could have been carrying one of these and my buddy didn't make it because I didn't have it with me. So I want to show you another pretty cool device that I picked up. This guy. It's called the Cardia Mobile. And what this is actually a little bit better than something you might put on your phone, but it connects with your phone. The ability to get a 6-lead EKG in this little device. Pretty sweet. Let me show you how it works. You touch it with one hand on this side, one hand on that side, and on the back, there's one for a lower extremity. You can just set this thing on your leg like this, press and press, and make sure that your hands are not touching. Make sure that your hands are also not touching your leg. Turn on the app, and this thing will give you a 6-lead EKG. Most people are not going to know how to read these. However, you can get the EKG and use a satellite uplink to send it to your physician, or if you're somebody like me who actually does spend a little bit of time with these EKGs, it can be incredibly useful for diagnosing 95% of major heart attacks. I saw this thing advertised on TV and I thought, is it really that good? But then I read some scientific studies and yeah, it really is that good. You can pick one of these up for like $100 on Amazon. I'll leave a link to it in the description. No medical kit is going to be complete without a blood pressure cuff and a stethoscope. Yeah, these are probably the most antiquated devices there are out there. However, they still serve a purpose. Critical to know somebody's blood pressure. You have to know how to use one of these. If you don't, there are automatic ones that you can buy and they work pretty much just as good, but worth learning how to get a blood pressure with a blood pressure cuff if you can. The stethoscope, obviously, if you don't know what you're listening for, it's going to be not super helpful, but for somebody like me, I do need to have one of these with me. The last medical device that I'm using with my cardiac care is actually a pulse ox. Having a pulse ox can be incredibly helpful for knowing whether or not what's going on has to do with their heart or potentially is a breathing problem. This is a device that I think most people should have in their house or in their kit. This can be helpful for trying to rule out other things. If your heart rate was super high and your pulse ox was low and you're having chest pain, that could be a pulmonary embolism and not a heart attack. That's where that other cardiac care combined with this could actually be helpful in making that diagnosis. So those devices are all aimed at helping you make the diagnosis of somebody having a heart attack or cardiac arrest, and with the AED actually treating it. This in my hand is oxygen. Now, the medical community has always gone back and forth about whether or not this is helpful for a person who is having an acute heart attack. That being said, why not carry it? Super simple. I think these cost like 10 bucks. It's enough oxygen to last you maybe 10 minutes or something. Could be helpful, and again, super light and easy to carry. Has other uses in your medical kit as well. Coupled with your pulse oximeter, could really help somebody out. I want to talk about the most important thing to have in your cardiac kit, and that's this. Simple aspirin. This is chewable aspirin. A regular aspirin won't be absorbed in the body as quickly as a chewable aspirin, so giving somebody a few of these. Now, the recommended for an adult having a heart attack is actually 4 to 8 of these 81 milligram chewable tablets. So if I really think someone's having a big MI, you better believe they're getting 8 of them. But you chew them up, get this running through the system, and it will prevent the blood clot from getting worse in that person's heart. That's the idea behind a heart attack. All right. In addition to that, I actually do carry a couple other medications. So I have a beta blocker to slow the heart down if it's going too fast. I also carry some pain medication. The idea behind that is you can blunt the body's sympathetic response, which is basically all the adrenaline going through their body, and that can actually decrease the damage being caused by the heart attack. And I have other medications that I may carry depending on what exactly is going on with that person, such as nitroglycerin, etc. Again, not something that everybody should be carrying, but maybe if you're a physician on the trail, not a bad idea. Or if you're a person who actually does have cardiac issues that you know about, well, should be carrying these. That being said, the aspirin, everybody needs to have it. That way, if you come across someone having a heart attack, this is the number one thing you can do to help them out. That's super simple and easy. Well, friends, hopefully that was interesting. Now you know what I take when I go out into the wilderness for people's cardiac care. Hopefully you learned something. Maybe this at least provoked a little bit of thought about what you could be carrying. Be curious. If you get one of the AEDs, let me know. I really want to know if there's anybody else out there carrying one. In the meantime, stay safe, get out there, and I hope to see you on the trail.